Days of Our Lives DOOL, spoilers for Friday, January 31, indicate some major plot twists as fans head into the weekend. It's time to say, I do, for one Salem couple, while the bride shares a sweet moment with a loved one, and someone is desperate to stop the wedding. What's set to unravel during Friday's show? Time to find out. Days spoilers for Friday, January 31, imply that the big day has arrived for Jada Hunter, Lilia Cantu, and Rafe Hernandez. Galen Juring, well, kind of DOOL early week spoilers February 3 to 7. Whitley returns, Kristen's discovery, Alex's grave danger. Fans know that the Rafe getting ready to say I do is actually Arnold Feniger. Galen Juring, so will Jada end up saying her vows with the wrong man? No wedding goes off without some sort of hitch in Salem, so here's hoping these nuptials aren't the exception to this rule. Speaking of the wedding, DOOL spoilers for Friday, January 31, hint that Jada will share a special moment with Steve Johnson, Stephen Nichols. It looks like Steve will step in and walk Jada down the aisle, as Jada's father Marcus Hunter, Richard Biggs, has passed on. Days viewers know how close Steve and Marcus were, so it's nice that his best friend will be there for his daughter during this important moment in her life. Jada and Steve have a nice father-daughter-ish bond, so even though Jada isn't marrying the right man, the conversation they'll share will be a beautiful one. Lastly, DOOL spoilers for Friday reveal that Rafe will escape the Mira tunnels and try to move mountains to stop the wedding between Jada and Arnold. Still, will he arrive at the ceremony on time to ensure that his fiancée doesn't exchange vows with the wrong Rafe? Fans will have to tune in to find out. The sun bathed Salem in a golden glow, signaling the start of a day that promised joy, heartbreak, and high-stakes drama. It was no ordinary morning. Today was the highly anticipated wedding of Chad Mira and Stephanie Johnson, a couple whose love had survived countless trials. But as every Days of Our Lives fan knows, weddings in Salem are never simple affairs. Wedding day, love, betrayal, and a looming shadow. The Horton Town Square had been transformed into a breathtaking scene of romance. White roses lined the aisle, and flickering candles cast a warm glow over the elegant setup. Chad stood at the altar, looking dashing in his perfectly tailored tuxedo, his heart thundering in anticipation. He had been through so much, losing Abigail, finding love again with Stephanie, and battling his own demons. But today, he was ready to embrace happiness. Stephanie, radiant in an intricate lace gown, took a deep breath as she clutched her father Steve's arm. The moment she had dreamed of was finally here. Her heart pounded, but there was something else, an unshakable feeling that something was about to go terribly wrong, and she wasn't the only one who sensed it. In the shadows, Alex Kyriakis watched, his expression unreadable. He had tried to be happy for Stephanie, but his love for her hadn't faded. Would he let her go? Or would he do something drastic before she could say I do? Meanwhile, E.J. Mira, ever the master manipulator, stood off to the side, exchanging hushed words with an unknown accomplice over the phone. His cryptic message sent a chill down the spine of anyone within earshot. I don't care how you do it, just make sure she never says, I do. A tender moment, a love confession in the midst of chaos. The ceremony had barely begun when chaos erupted. Just as the officiant asked if anyone objected to the marriage, a voice rang through the square. I can't let this happen. All eyes turned as Alex stepped forward, his face filled with emotion. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Stephanie's hands trembled as she turned to face him. Alex, what are you doing? Chad growled, stepping protectively toward his bride. I love you, Stephanie, Alex said, his voice raw. I've tried to ignore it, tried to move on, but I can't. I need you to know before it's too late. A heavy silence hung between them. Stephanie's heart clenched. There was a time when those words would have made her melt, but now. Now, her future was with Chad. Wasn't it? Before she could respond, an ear-piercing gunshot shattered the moment. Screams filled the air as guests ducked for cover. Chad instinctively shielded Stephanie, while Steve and John Black sprang into action, scanning for the source of the attack. EJ smirked from the sidelines, satisfied that his distraction had worked. But who was the real target? As the dust settled, a stunned Maggie Kyriakis pointed toward the edge of the square. The shooter, they're getting away, the great escape, a kidnapping that changes everything. While all eyes were on the chaos in the square, Stephanie suddenly disappeared. Chad turned frantically, his heart dropping into his stomach. One moment she had been right beside him, and the next, gone. "Stephanie," he roared, his panic evident. "Over here." Marlena gasped, pointing toward a black SUV peeling away from the scene. Steve's blood ran cold. His daughter had been taken without hesitation. He and John leaped into action. Jumping into their own car to give chase inside the speeding SUV, Stephanie struggled against her captor. A masked figure loomed over her, gripping the steering wheel with deadly precision. "Let me go," she shouted, her voice laced with fury. "You should have chosen Alex," the kidnapper murmured. Stephanie's breath hitched. That voice, she recognized it. "Teresa." The mask was ripped off, revealing Teresa Donovan, her expression a mix of desperation and madness. "You weren't supposed to marry Chad," Teresa hissed. "He was never meant for you. You don't understand what's at stake." Stephanie's mind reeled. What was Teresa talking about? Meanwhile, Steve and John gained on the SUV, their faces grim with determination. "Hang on, baby girl," Steve muttered. "I'm coming." The final twist: who's really behind the abduction? As Teresa sped toward the Salem docks, Stephanie's fear turned to fury. "Teresa, you don't have to do this. Whatever's going on, we can fix it." Teresa hesitated, her grip on the wheel tightening. "I wish I could believe that," she whispered just then. A second car cut Teresa off, sending the SUV skidding to a stop. Stephanie's heart leaped. Her father had found her. Steve and John jumped out, guns raised, ready to end this nightmare. "Let her go, Teresa," Steve ordered, but before Teresa could respond, a mysterious figure emerged from the shadows, clapping slowly. Well, well, well," the voice drawled. "It seems our little plan hit a snag." Stephanie's blood ran cold. It was Clyde Weston, and he wasn't working alone. Behind him, a familiar face stepped into the dim light. Ava Vitali. John tensed. "Damn it, I knew you were up to something." Ava smirked. "Oh, Johnny, you have no idea." Teresa's shoulders slumped. "I didn't have a choice," she murmured. Clyde grinned. "Oh, but you did, sweetheart, and now, there's no turning back." Stephanie gasped as she realized the horrifying truth. Her kidnapping wasn't about love. It was about something far more dangerous, something that could destroy Salem, forever. To be continued. What happens next? Will Steve and John save Stephanie before it's too late? What dark secret ties Teresa, Ava, and Clyde together? And what does this mean for Chad and Alex? Stay tuned, because in Salem, the drama is just getting started. Please subscribe for my YouTube channel.